Okay, Atlanta, let's get to it. Right, so I know that some people said that the first episode was kind of boring, but I feel like with most Housewives, it starts out very chill and a little more relaxed. Nothing pops off until like a few episodes in, except for I think maybe like OC when Bronwyn said, well, she came out as an alcoholic. I think that was the first episode. That was probably the most action we've gotten in a like opening episode. But Atlanta, it seems pretty chill. We go through all the housewives, what they're up to. Cynthia's pressed for this wedding. I agree with Mike. I feel like just get married. Just go to the courthouse and get married, and then have the big reception when people can actually come without being worried about being sick and you have to go through all these protocols. I don't understand it. I feel like it's a little pressed. You already had the big wedding and you saw how that turned out with the marriage, so why not have a smaller wedding and have a big reception later and then have a great marriage. And I don't know. I mean, because I had a small wedding, but I just don't understand how people pay such a lot of money and then most of these housewives get divorced later. That's not very nice. I mean, if you want to have a big wedding, spend your money. So anyways, Candy's storyline is gonna be with her daughter's Riley's baby, like what Riley's father has back child support, doesn't want to pay it, and this is going to be the storyline. I hope not all season, because Candy, come on, people already say that you're boring and that you have no storyline. I love Candy. I've loved her ever since she came on. I've been following, because Escape, I love Candy. So she's like a legend in the music industry. So, but I feel like sometimes her storylines are a little lacking, but I feel like she always brings it and gets the girls going. She's kind of like a bone carrier, but not as bad as Sheree. But I'm gonna need a little more. Portia, I liked the contrast that they did with the ladies, and then Portia doing her activism. She's come a long way from Underground Railroad comment to now. So I'm happy for her, speaking up for Black lives. I think it's amazing. I do hope that they bring her amongst the ladies because I don't want to see her separated so much. But I did appreciate them showing the activism. Who else we got? Kenya and this divorce or separation, whatever they're doing. Yeah, so this is going to be her storyline. Mark just does not seem like a very nice man. Get away from him. Who else we got? Eva's gone. I think that's it. Yeah, they didn't show too much. And yeah, let's move on to episode 2. We just started. Cynthia comes over to Kenya's place and they're talking, having a little kiki, and then they talk about the new girl, Latoya. She's Caribbean, I believe. I'll have to pay attention better. But she's like, Kenya has taken a liking to her rather quickly, which we know that Kenya does not. They showed a montage of Kenya not getting along with the new women. So it is kind of surprising that they're hitting it off so quickly, and she's inviting her to her home. So that's interesting, and Cynthia is very jealous. So we're going to see how this continues on. Okay, so Latoya is Trinidadian, and I guess apparently Mark is too, Kenya's husband, and Latoya just from the jump just says, oh, I'm surprised that you're with a Trinidadian man because they're crazy and they usually cheat. And I'm like, why are you telling that to this woman who you barely know about her husband? But whatever. And then I love how because Kenya says she's gonna steal Latoya away from Candy, because Latoya was Candy's friend first, and Kenya and Latoya met at Todd's birthday party, or his party, and the little name tag for Latoya now is Candy's friend that Kenya stole. So I guess they're gonna be new BFFs. It's just weird that they're hitting it off, and Kenya's saying that she has a good judge of character. I don't know, she was pressed to be Phaedra's friend when they first got on, so I don't know how good of a judge of character Kenya is, but we'll see. I don't know. And I don't know. Even when I feel like when Kenya is friendly with people, she'll turn on them quick. So I don't know how long this is gonna last, but we'll see. So apparently Latoya is separated. She's getting divorced. Her husband filed for divorce. And then didn't Mark file for divorce before they try to work things out? So it seems like these Trinidadian men, they're not having it. They want a divorce. They don't deal with conflict well. Um, Kenya is still trying to figure out what she's gonna do. Latoya seems like a little slow. She's trying to. She can't keep up with the jokes. They talk about Lake Belly, and then Latoya's like, "I want to see the river," and they're like, "No, it's a lake." So then Kenya throws a little shade and said, "I think she's gonna get along with Portia well." Which is not nice. I'm like, how do you invite this woman to your house and then throw shade? Maybe Kenya threw the shade because she's a little salty about when Latoya was talking about cheating, about Trinidadian men cheating. So I don't know. We'll see. They like to, you know, be like frenemies with these women. So it's always like smiling and then shade, smiling and then stab you in the back. So we'll see. So it's the day after Portia's arrest. She talks to her mom and her sister on video chat, and we see little PJ. Little PJ is so adorable. I know for the longest time we all said she looked like Dennis, but if you've seen pictures of Portia when she was younger, that girl looks just like her mother. Like the little mini version of Portia. So it's really crazy that for the longest I was like, wow, she looks like Dennis. But no, she, like, those pictures, it's like, it's just wild how much we like look like our parents when we're little. It's really crazy. But a little PJ, she talks to her for a little bit, and then she talks about like being arrested. They clown her mugshot with the straight line mouth across like that. They clown her mugshot, and then they start talking about Breonna Taylor and Breonna Taylor's mother. And it gets emotional. It's just very unfortunate that we're still dealing with this. Like, still, like, I mean, it's never stopped, but it's frustrating and unfortunate that like we're still battling this, still battling racism and white supremacy, especially within our and within the police department, and how we're supposed to be being protected and we're not. So it's very frustrating, but I'm glad they're speaking on it. I don't know if it's gonna help, but whatever you can do, I guess, do it. So yeah, it's just sad. And can I just say real quick, with everyone's confessionals, their titties are mad aggressive. It's like coming at you. I mean, beautiful breasts, but they're like just, you can't look at anything else. Please, a little. Can we be a little more demure? Like the titties are like always coming at me, and I can't focus on like their beautiful faces and their makeup because they're there. So we're with Cynthia. She's having dinner with one of the new ladies, Drew Sidora. She's an actress and a singer. And Cynthia and Drew met through Eva, but Drew has also worked on set with Leon, which is Cynthia's baby daddy. And so it's like small world. But Cynthia asked if Drew and Kenya have ran into each other, possibly like at auditions and stuff, because she was like, do you know Kenya? And she's like, I've heard of her. I'm familiar with her, but I don't really know her. And I was thinking, like, why would they run into each other at auditions? They're not, Drew seems younger. Not saying that Kenya's super old or anything, but Drew just seems younger. She seemed younger than me, so I just can't imagine her working or auditioning for the same role as Kenya. But then she was like, no, I run, like, I go to auditions for like more my age group. And Cindy was like, okay, no shade, but it seemed like you were trying to throw shade, Cynthia, because why would you even ask her that? You know Kenya's older than her, like, stop. So she talked about like Megan Goods and stuff, and more her age range. So we'll see how that pans out, because Kenya doesn't like to be shaded in any way possible, shape, or form. So But she seems cute. She's in a boot, so she got injured, I guess, on set. You know, it's hard out here when you're working. So she's in a boot, and they're talking about marriage and how it's hard and it's work. So it's work, but I mean, you make it work and you love who you love. So, but marriage is work, but it can be also very rewarding. So, I mean, us married folks have to say that. But so we get to see like a little mini scene of Drew and her family. Her kids are adorable. Her and her husband have been married for 6 years, but together for 6.5 years. So they met, dated, and got married 6 months later. Right? Yeah. And then, but she had a previous son, so they have 2 other kids and 3 total, and it's super adorable. Her kids are cute, and her family's cute. We saw like a little tiny segment of her husband fighting with her mother. But you know how families are. Just like, I mean, it was like, but I'm not that shocked. I mean, families have their issues, especially like in-laws have their issues. So it's like it's family dynamic. It's nothing new. It's nothing like too crazy. So, but she has a very beautiful family. Oh, Riley graduated. I think like it's crazy because we've watched Riley grow since she was like a little girl, and now she's 18 and graduating, and I think it's so sweet. I don't like her new nose, but it's her nose, so she can do whatever she wants. She's such a pretty girl. I don't know why she did that, but it's her nose. She can do whatever she wants. Mama Joyce is there. Grandmas are going to be there. I'm not going to say anything about Mama Joyce because Candy might see this, and I don't want her coming after me because you know how she feels about her mama. So, yeah, it's crazy that we find out that like during Candy's graduation, she was touring with Escape, so she had to like she flew home to graduate and then had to fly right back, and that's insane. You just being like an entertainer and being famous and then going to your high school graduation, just to think about that, and then have to go back on tour. Like, it's crazy how long she's been in this industry. But and now she's at her daughter's graduation, and now like the age gap, like her, like Mama Joyce did say, like think about how long you have to wait till the next graduation. And she was just saying like, oh, I'm gonna be so old, I hope I be around. I feel like that's something my mother would say because I don't have kids yet, and they be pressing you and be like, oh, I'm gonna be too old for you to have kids. It's just like, let me live my life. But it's not about me. We're on Real Housewives. So Riley graduated, yay. So Portia's back home with PJ and her mom, and she's mad because she said when men get home from jail, y'all have a cookout, you have a banner talking about welcome home. But when Portia comes home, it's just like, okay, girl, back to business as usual. But she's home. PJ missed her. She's throwing like a little fit. She just needs a nap. She ends up going down for a nap. But Portia talks about like the protests and how she was a little bit scared, but you know, she was happy to do the right thing and protest. She starts talking about Dennis and their relationship and how like arguments are becoming toxic, especially during quarantine, which is understandable because I think a lot of people who are not used to being home together all the time, especially parents, I can't imagine like with the kids there all the time and you're stuck in the house and you're having to deal with all of those circumstances. It can be like a big house can become small. So I'm sure like it's understandable that their arguments are getting a little more toxic than they should be. I feel like a lot of people really are dealing with that. But and Dennis is whatever. I don't know why she's with this man. Well, like now, like in now time, they're not together. So I mean, it makes sense. But I feel like she's trying to stay with him because they have a child together, which I understand, but this man has already cheated on you. There's like reports of him cheating again. Like, please just move on. Like, you don't have to be with your child's father. I know that's ideal, but you guys didn't even know each other that well when you first got together, so it feels a little backwards to barely know each other, have a kid, and then try to have a relationship. But maybe I'm too conservative. I feel like not necessarily that you have to get married, but why not have the relationship first, get to know each other, like each other, then have the kid. But you know, everybody's different, so and she's just having to learn the hard way with this dentist situation. So Cynthia's having a nice little get together at her Lake Bailey home. Kenya and what's her name, Latoya, come over, and Latoya's still trying to throw shade about this being a river. It's a lake, let it go. But I do like that when the ladies come in, Mike introduces himself, says hi to Kenya, and then disappears, which all men should do. Say hello, and then be gone. Don't get involved like some of these men do. Just say hello and then disappear. I love that. Now I see why Kenya likes Toya, because she's shady. She's just shading Cynthia all up and down. Although, don't ever put fake food out with real food. Like, Cynthia, she knew she shouldn't have put out those fake grapes. Everything else, though, shady. So Marlo comes, her and Kenya are throwing shade at each other. Marlo's talking about, oh, Cynthia is shady, puts Marlo next to Kenya on the couch. And then Marlo's like, we can be ladies, we'll be fine, right, Kenya? And then Kenya's like, well, some of us, oh no, Marlo says we can act like ladies. And then Kenya says, well, some of us act like ladies and some of us are. Shade. And then Cynthia starts talking about the other ladies who are coming. She mentions Drew. And Kenya's like, who's Drew? So she says, oh, she was at my my wine cellar launch for my engagement party that you almost ruined. And Latoya's like, you ruined her engagement? And Kenya's like, almost. So Kenya gets her confessional, which, I mean, the look, it's a lot, but I like it. So go ahead, Kenya. She says that she feels horrible about almost ruining Cynthia's engagement proposal, which she should, because I still don't know why she did that. I really don't. And I was with Candy like, ooh, you a little shady bitch for trying to do that. So I hope she does feel bad and don't do it again. So we're back to Candy's place. Riley comes home, and then, you know, Candy and her mom are like gushing over Riley's diploma. And Candy gives Riley flowers, and she's like, thank you, I would have preferred cash, but thank you. Like, what? These rich kids. Lucky you got flowers. But Todd does end up giving her like a stack of cash. Must be nice. Mama Joyce is passing the cash, but holds on to it a little too long. I'm like, give her the money, Lord. Oh, Mama Joyce. I'm not going to say nothing, though. I'm not. So we go over back to Cynthia's party. Latoya, or is it Latoya or Toya? Toya asks what was Riley's first car. I don't know why she asked that, but they said Porsche. They all knew. And then Toya says that her sugar daddy gave her first car. So now they're talking about sugar daddies, and then they get on to Marlo and her sugar daddy. Can't with these women. So Marlo tries to lie and say that she never had a sugar daddy, but you know, the shady editors at Bravo pulled the receipts. She had a sugar daddy. It's whatever, Marlo. Who cares? Latoya talks about she met her sugar daddy at the strip club because she used to be a stripper. She starts dancing. Of course, Mike comes up directly at this time. She's dancing on Kenya. They get in each other's face, and Kenya's pulling her hair, and they're like making noises. I am Marlo, and I am Mike. Mike's face is like, what is going on? Like, and I'm the same way, like, what's going on? Who is this Kenya? But I mean, she's been in a loveless marriage, it feels like, so maybe she needs something. So go ahead, Kenya. I was about to tell Mike to go back downstairs because he was lingering a little bit too long for me, but then Drew Sidora, right, comes with her husband. So there's another gentleman for Mike to hang out with. Hopefully they take their butts downstairs because I'm like, this is women time. So Drew comes over. introduces herself to the ladies. Kenya is throwing shade, calling her a stray in her confessional. I don't think she's like any worse than Toya. Like, they seem the same to me. Like, new girl vibes, not much going on yet. But how are you calling her a stray? Like, Kenya, stop. She says that she's not impressed. But the shady producers are like, but you thought her husband was hot though, right? She's like, well, the husband's cute. Kenya, don't. Just don't. We can't go through this again. Thankfully, the men leave, and then they ask Drew what happened to her leg or foot. She has injured her Achilles. Whew. I only know about Achilles injuries from basketball. And every time they injure their Achilles, they're out for like a long ass time. So, and it always sounds painful. It always looks painful. So, that poor girl. Toya's just rude. She's rude. But she comes, she's throwing shade at Drew behind her back to Kenya, and then she's like going on and on about getting some wine. She gets some wine, comes back over and says, "This is why I don't like you, Drew." And everybody's like, "What? What'd she do?" Drew's like, "What did I do?" And she's like, "Because of the game. You broke up Melanie and Duran." I was like, crap. That's where she's from? Because I used to love the game. I forgot all about her breaking up Melanie and Derwin. So now, I don't know if I like Drew either. I understand Toya. Like, wait a minute. I guess I have blocked that out of my memory because the pain was too strong, but I don't know, Drew. Toya's still rude, though. Oh, Marlo with the shade. So she's like, "Drew, you're working, right? Maybe you can get Kenya some jobs." Then trails off. Her and Toya go to get some food. She immediately starts throwing Kenya under the bus. Like, don't trust her. Don't tell her all your business. And then Toya doesn't hear her correctly, and she's like, "Oh, don't take any advice from her." And she's like, "Well, you can take advice from her, like on how to pronounce your words." Like, is Kenya good at pronouncing her words? But she's like, she couldn't keep a man if someone paid her to, so don't listen to her. And I was like, damn, Toya laughs it off. I'm sure she's gonna tell Kenya. Marlo and Kenya will never be friends, so this is understandable. But damn. So we get up, we go outside to see Cynthia's back patio porch, and it's really pretty. I like the setup, and then you see the view of the lake. It's really nice. So I'm more of a beach view, like ocean view type person, but I guess if I lived in Georgia, I wouldn't mind a lake view, but I prefer the beach and the ocean. We start talking about this wedding again. I'm like already over this wedding. I'm over like all of these reality weddings. I don't care. Just get married. Just do it. You have the money. Just get married and then have your reception later. Just do it. Toya asks for an invitation to the wedding. Cynthia's like, "I just met you. You ain't getting no invitation to the wedding." And I don't blame her. Like, I don't know you. I could give you an invitation and then we could fall out later. So no. The men are talking now. I don't care. Let's get back to the ladies. Okay, wait a minute. We have to come back to the men because Ralph, Drew's husband, said, like, it's been a lot, quarantine. We've already discussed this, but he said it's been too much to the point where he's left for days. Days? I understand like a few hours. Even Mike was like, "Oh, so you've left like a few hours and come back." He's like, "I've left for days." Days? Then he tried to like back it up by saying, "I made sure everything was taken care of at the house." But you've left for days. You left your wife and your kids for days. Okay. No. So now they're tasting some wines. I don't know why Cynthia has Kenya there, especially the last time. Oh my gosh, I thought something was on me. So I don't know why Cynthia has Kenya there, especially the last time she shaded the mess out of her business. So like, why? But they're talking about Toya wants to hook Kenya up with some dudes while she's separated. Drew is not down for that. She's like, "What vows did you take?" This is gonna get messy. I already know it. I already see it because some people feel very differently. Some people feel like when you're separated, you can do your own thing. Some people feel like when you're separated, you should still stay faithful. I feel like it should be between the people who are married. Like you have to agree upon that. Like, hey, we're separated. Let's see other people. But if you're separated and you see someone else and the other person doesn't know that that's part of the plan, then I feel like that's where it gets really messy. So, but I feel like Drew should stay like out of it because I mean she's not separated, so just like mind your business. So now Drew brings up the fact that Ralph left for 3 days, and I'm like, Cynthia, you ain't just leaving for 3 days. 3 days? Could you imagine if like a mother and a wife for 3 kids and just like picked up and left for 3 days because she was angry at her husband? Like the kind of vitriol that would come from people for this woman. But like men can just pick up and just go for 3 days? Like, no. So Kenya is going to go ahead and file for divorce. Well, she said she's going to file for the custody action and then a postnup and then divorce. Yes, so she said this is going to be the path of least resistance, so we'll see how that goes. I doubt it, especially with Mark, but her and Latoya are leaving. Everybody says bye. Marlo tries to hug Kenya. Kenya's like, no, get this demon away from me. She is like really trying to hug her, and Kenya's like, no. Marlo, stop. You know she don't want to hug you, and you don't want to hug her. That's so fake to me. They just don't like each other. Just let it be what it is. So now we're peeking into all the Housewives lives. Candy, Blaze is so cute. Oh, that chocolate baby. She is so cute. Candy is gonna cook because I guess Todd was talking trash. Riley is looking for her graduation cake. Candy ate it. Riley was like, it's been a day. I mean, I feel like Riley should have did a better job of hiding it. You know how Candy is about food. So that's your fault. Portia is with her sister, Lauren. They're talking about yoga. She's like, how does Lauren look like this? Coming out of quarantine looking like this. Lauren says, I've been doing yoga every day. Portia says she does big girl yoga. She does like 3 or 4 moves and then just sits there and watches the rest of it. I've never heard of that yoga, but if it works, it works. Kenya's gained some weight. She takes the scale out, steps on the scale. She's gained some weight. Girl, we all have. We gonna be all right. So Drew and her husband Ralph are celebrating their 6-year anniversary. They were cheersing to making it to 7 years and a wedding. So I'm taking that as like a vow renewal for their 7th year anniversary. But like, why? You guys are still fighting and arguing about some mess and you want to have a vow renewal? Why? And we all know like vow renewals are the kiss of death for Real Housewives. So dead it. No. They have to pray over their food even though they already took bites out of the strawberries. So whatever. But he starts some shady mess. They can't even like enjoy the food without him asking like things they need to work on. And so she's like, all right, let's get to it. Where were you for 3 days? Just gone for 3 days. She didn't know where he was. He claims that he was answering all of her texts, but she didn't know where he was. We finally found out that he was in Tampa. She says they never been to Tampa, so what is he doing there in Tampa? He lies and says he was just on the beach for 3 days. Like, you were on the beach for 3 days, so you were bumming it on the beach for 3 days. You drove all the way to Tampa to bum it on the beach for 3 days. Like, I don't want to hear anything else he has to say. I don't like this dude. So no. I understand her frustration. I'm sure any person would, whether it's your wife or your husband just leaving, disappearing for 3 days and you don't know where they are. And she said her mother was there, so she had to see that. That would piss me off too, because I'm a private person. What goes on in my marriage needs to stay between me and my husband and my therapist. But I don't want anybody else knowing what's going on. So I'm sure that had to be frustrating, her mom seeing that. But it's also annoying that at the end of their argument during this dinner, she runs to her mom to like cry about it, because then it's like, okay, if you don't want your mom knowing what's going on, you shouldn't be telling her. But she's upset. They're arguing. It's like getting nowhere. Apparently, she found a camera in their house. She didn't know that he had installed a camera and saw a picture on his phone of him watching them. It was like a screenshot. That's weird. So she's like, so you were watching us. You knew where we were and what we were doing, but we didn't know where you were and what you were doing. That's creepy. And possessive and a little bit controlling. Yeah, I don't. I don't like this dude. So no. I hope they can work on their marriage and communication, and it's a mess. Whew. But that's the end of this episode. Episode 2 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Let me know what y'all think. Let me know what you think about the episode, about the new women and their situation. Leave it in the comments below. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and hit that notification bell so you can be in the know for when I release a new video. And stay tuned. Make sure you subscribe if you're new, and stay tuned for more videos from Stuff and Key TV. Thanks, everyone.